Oh, there you are, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Yes, we were last New York.
Yes, that's right.
You well?
Make sure we'll have no.
Oh yeah.
All right.
You know what, I am too. I am too. I'm surprised. I'm more awake than I usually am.
You know it.
I'm worried about getting back to work.
Just raise your hand if you have a question. We have mic runners.
How's everybody doing today?
How you doing?
I'm still good. I am good. Scott, I want to get this right out the way. Does
Yeah.
the helicopter group have anything to do with the Commonwealth?
No, it does not.
Thank you very much.
That was so hard to do, but everything feels. It is not there. Really emphatic way.
Thank you so much.
I feel like every season the world kind of expands and it contracts back, like some characters. What kind of overarching, kind of bigger thing are we delving into, and how does that affect the character relationships?
Well,
Talking about in the back half.
yeah. And I mean, I would say, without giving something away, the world is going to expand in a big way, and by the time we get to the end of the season, it is really going to shake the entire group to the very core and really change the show in a way that will launch us into season 6 in a really big way.
Yeah, the world of this show changes quite a bit. Wait, Danay, you totally laughed. No, why? Why are we laughing? Share with the class.
Absolutely true. Yeah, it's like a domino effect. Like they write one page and the whole page kind of like. It's hard to answer the question because one page really affects the entire season, and that's the beauty of it. And sometimes it starts with a helicopter, but you're like, oh, the helicopter. So that's why it's like I see you guys answering. I'm like, I'm just taking up a helicopter.
All right, I'm satisfied.
I'm Amelio with Chambliss, and my question is could be for the showrunners, also for Mr. Lance, which is Salazar has shown up no matter where the group ends up. You're in Texas, you're in Mexico, you're wherever the plane is going to fly to later, and there's Salazar. How do you explain this physical teleportation?
It's a sixth sense thing, right?
And I mean, there is an explanation for why Salazar is where he is at the beginning of season 5, and it's something that we will reveal, perhaps on Fear,
perhaps somewhere else. But there's an unbelievably cool story that we've been working on for like a year to tell the story of how he wound up where he wound up, even with the feline he wound up with. It's really skid mark driven.
You love that.
Hi guys, Sarah Beth Linda talking. I have a question about how much time is passing. I know it's something that I was curious about at WonderCon. How much time is passing between, say, 501 and 508, between 508 and 509? Do we know where we are anywhere in the greater scheme of things?
Yeah, I can answer that. Between 501 and 508, that's a pretty concentrated chunk of time. It's a matter of a week or so that our characters are stuck on that other side of the mountain. And then when we come back in 509, I don't want to give away too much, but we will be jumping ahead a little bit and finding our characters in circumstances that they've been in for several months.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could speak at all to the new Walking Dead show that's in the works and whether or not there's a scope for crossovers with Fear.
Right now, we're trying to get that on its narrative feet before any crossovery stuff happens. But it's certainly possible deep in the future. Just to your timeline question, there's some interesting aspects of when that occurs as well. We have different things happening at different times in the Walking Dead world, and at one point we might all catch up with each other, but we're telling different sides of the story.
Hi, so you already had such an established of talented actors that last year you gained the exceptional Jenna Elfman and Garcia and more. Does that change how you approach writing the characters? We have such a strong group of actors who does it change how you do it?
Yeah, I think we're very lucky because really we have, I think, one of the best casts on television, and we can give them everything from comedy to drama to these incredible action sequences, and everyone shows up every day in his game and continually surprises us with what they deliver. And it's great because it gives us so much freedom to explore the show, and what we try to do is see what the show can do tonally and really try to stretch our legs, and it gives us some really surprising stuff. It's fun to write this stuff and then see all these people take it and really elevate it and do things with it that we may not have even intended, when it was on the page. And it's always great to get dailies back and be surprised by what we're seeing.
I will say that you look at this cast up here, and I like when they do the funny. I like
Like accordion.
Yeah, the accordion. I think this has been the funniest Salazar season ever. And I think Charlie gets her zingers. But seeing the accordion scene made my heart sing. Basically, all I do is pitch jokes to these guys.
And there will be an accordion on the show at one point.
Yeah, which is the main point of this
Get ready.
conference.
She asked if I played the accordion, and I'm like, no. Why would you think that I know how to play the accordion? I don't know. I think it's fun. I'm like, okay. It's your fault.
Yeah, I like Jenna playing the straight man.
Yeah.
That was funny.
You a tuba.
It's all about building the greatest band ever.
Danay, any funny stories working with the kids?
Oh my gosh. Okay, when I was, this is funny, but at the moment, usually the funny stories in the moment, they're really not funny. So the planes crashed, it was raining and it was muddy, and I had to be on the ground and it was wet. But you're used to it, you just go for it. And little Cooper, he's holding, his two hands in my wound with the pole sticking, and there's like blood on the whole cord and the whole thing, and it's really sticky. So he's not used to it. So he's, pressing. So we're just between takes, and the poor little Cooper gets, this is my face, this is his, he's like holding me, and then Morgan says, hang on to her, I'll be back. That was the moment. So he's hanging on, and this is my face. So he gets a bit cold, he gets chilly, and he's like, and I'm like, oh, Cooper. He's like, that was not good. It's like, my hands are sticking to your bowl, and it's wrong. And I'm like, if you want to do this again, you can just don't do this, because then you'll be a problem. It's just let me know. I was like, okay. But that was a huge bonding moment with me and Goldberg. He just leaves to my face, and I'm like, okay, well, because we're ready to do this. Was that funny? I don't know. It was like life and death right there. He's adorable, by the way. We have, just to answer a little bit of, having kids on set really changed the tone of the entire set, even the crew. It was really nice to have, this open the door in the van and just a bunch of little kids come, and they look like kids in the apocalypse. It was really adorable.
I'm Veronica from Fansided. Can you tell me more where June and John are going? It just seems like, every time we get happy for them, like disaster
tell us?
That's a good question for them.
Well, I mean, I
Well,
would
what are your wishes?
I do get what I wish for often.
And I'd say maybe watch Sunday's episode. There might be some a big June and Dory moment in Sunday's episode.
Yeah, they go through their rich, and I think it's the expansion of the relationship. You have to go through things, but unfortunately, in this world, it's the universe that shoves them into their discomfort. They're so good together. It's like they together, I think, are unbreakable. I don't think with what they've been through that there's anything within themselves that would rip them apart. Period. Outside of themselves, with things that are absolutely beyond their, it would take absolute beyond their control, but it's part of the growth of the characters on how they respond to that, how they deal with that. But I think within them as a unit, nothing can take them apart.
Just raise your hand for a question.
Should I drop the mic?
Okay, my question then, we're talking about what the actors want for their characters. Guys are right here and can let us know who the witness is. So you can tell us, each one of you going down the line, what is it, your wish for next season, something that really cool that can happen for your character?
I don't know about something super specific, but I would just love to see Charlie continue to try to redeem herself and for the group to truly forgive her. And also, I would really like to see Charlie maybe save someone's life or something super cool to just truly redeem her.
We need to write these down. I'm sorry.
With Alexander, you never know what's going to happen. So, basically my goal is to stay alive. That's my goal. Those guys over there know more than I do. So that's my hope for season 6, 7, 8, 9.
I will say, Ruben, you got a cat. Like you said, I want a cat.
Well, it's a good thing that I have a cat too, because that cat is 7 lives. It's like Salazar in a way, so they complement each other. Smart cat.
Throughout this year's seasons with Luciana, I feel like, she's proven herself physically and now emotionally and mentally. Especially this last season, it was very mental for her. It was not that much, going out and kill. It was more about her getting stronger mentally. Going forward, I think it's like a full circle. She's strong physically, she's healed, and she's strong mentally. I'm very curious to see who that woman is now after all that she's been. She knows what it's like to stay behind, which is against her nature, and she knows exactly what it's like to be out. So how she sees the world as being in the outside for a bit, it's really exciting to see what comes out next year. So I hope she's healed and happy and ready to take over again.
It's interesting to answer this when you still have the back half of the season that you have to see, because built into that is part of the journey of what we'd like to see next. It's it's there, but I'd like to see, with each challenge, they grow stronger. So, I think before the apocalypse, June was quite competent, and then she got hit and had to go through the learning curve of the apocalypse, and John's been healing. So I think finding what that next thing to see her warrior, what is that just lay down moment where she just is like, I was able to see that.
I got one for you, Scott.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do it.
How was that same shot where John did the bullet trick with the axe?
What's that?
The bullet trick.
Oh, yes. What, the Tennessee split?
The San Antonio split.
Oh, damn it. There's too many television television programs that I visit and work on.
I'll jump in here because
I think Andrew should jump in
because I cut it and everything. It was shot with a bunch of different tricks, but obviously Garrett is very good with weapons and he's a marksman outside of the show, but he cannot split a bullet with an axe all the time. Maybe he can now.
There are some that can, though. It is a
there
real
are,
life thing.
we literally went to the Gene Autry Western Museum, which is in Griffith Park in Los Angeles, and looked at all the trick shooting that like Annie Oakley used to do. So it is based on real trick shooting. But when it was shot, Austin was on the ground holding up the axe, and then we had some specialty shots of the axe where it was stabilized, and our special effects department had rigged it up with sparks, so that kind of provided the spark, and then the magic of visual effects provided the split bullets and the double walker hits. So it's kind of a little contribution from every department, and then just the magic of editing.
And even, when we brought Garrett on, like, he was a trick shooter. Like, it was something that he did in his spare time, and we built it into John Dory. And we even, I remember last year, had some, this is all just a glorified defense of what I just did. We were pitching all of these crazy names for trick shots.
Yeah, we had like
in Laura, I think, actually.
Yeah. We had like a whole breakfast where we just talked about trick shots and what we would call them. And then a bunch of them ended up coming out of June's mouth when she was making up all the.
Oh, that was that was the litany of jokes. Yes, I remember. I get into those. Whew. Okay, so this is the part where we start asking you questions.
Now, with Walking Dead, it seems like they found communities or living here. Fear still seems more nomadic. Is that a goal to get them to eventually establish a community?
I would say we are constantly striving to change kind of what fear is and reinvent it. So just as soon as everyone kind of figures out, at least thinks they figured out what we're doing, we kind of change things up, and that's going to continue through season 5, and there'll be a big change at the end of season 5, and we're going to continue to find ways to differentiate the show from The Walking Dead. So I can say, it will be different than finding communities.
Andrew, in season 4, it seemed like there were a lot of visual cues with the way it was filmed and just the way you brought the apocalypse to life. And it seems in season 5 that sound has really had a big factor. There's a lot of really interesting ways that sound's been incorporated into the season. And I'm just wondering if that's something that's a conscious thing, or is it something that goes episode by episode, or is it just another tool in the toolkit?
It's definitely something that we kind of conceived of from the very first episode, because we knew we were going to open with this plane crash, and we knew such a big part of that and putting the audience kind of in all of the characters' perspective was going to be the sound design, and really feeling like all these characters were coming to in the middle of this absolute scene of chaos. And then that really kind of carried through as we had the Red Rover walkers and really wanted to create this kind of environment that just felt different, and a big part of that was sound, and we've just kind of been carrying that through the season.
Hi guys, my name is Claudio from Review Social. Thanks for being here. So one thing that I really liked was the introduction of contamination of the nuclear power plant. I thought that was really awesome and different. So I was just curious, how did that spark? I know you guys throw around ideas, and is this something that we're going to see not only throughout this season, but possible future seasons?
Well, I'm going to say Andrew has a really good answer for that.
Yeah.
Which was shocking. I don't mean to give you like a preview of his answer here, but when I found out this fact, we could not do this story.
I'll preface this with saying this is actually something we had talked about doing in season 4, and we just had so much stuff we were doing in season 4 that it seemed irresponsible to do a hurricane and a nuclear meltdown in the same season. But the other reason we did it is my dad is a nuclear engineer, the power industry ever since I was a baby, and it's something I kind of grew up in, and I just always in the back of my head said it would be awesome to see what that would be like in the zombie apocalypse. And he had actually been on like panels that were convened at power plants after Fukushima, so he knew kind of all the things that would happen, and so I would call him a lot of times and pick his brain and say, yeah, but what if we needed this to happen? And he'd say, well, okay, that could happen if X, Y, Z. So believe it or not, there is a lot of research behind this.
Yeah, my dad helped legal work on malls, so we didn't use his advice on this.
Yeah, later in the season maybe.
Yeah, actually, pardon me, now that I think about it. He did.
Slight spoiler, but
a little bit of a spoiler, but you saw an escalator in the trailer. Won't go further than that. But,
Hi, I was just wondering if being a part of this show has made you create your own zombie apocalypse plans?
I like Robert Kirkman's the most, and I think I first saw him give that answer while I was in the audience of a panel he was on. But he said he would throw himself immediately off a bridge because he couldn't imagine.
Yeah, Ian and I were actually talking about this with Lennie last night, and we said we were just going to find him because we don't live that far from him in LA, and he actually knows how to use that stick, so that's my plan.
There was well, I mean, maybe some of you guys were here for it. There's like a pretty bad earthquake in Los Angeles. And suddenly your mind does go to the last, suddenly my mind does go to the last 10 years of thinking about this stuff and being like, okay, what do I need food-wise? Weapons, whatever. Also video games help. I guess play more video games. Jenna?
I definitely started researching custom-made emergency kits made by specialists, and I definitely with a much expanded point of view about what I might need for me and my family. So yeah, definitely.
And do you feel the show's prepared you for it?
I mean, not willingly, joyfully, but it's definitely given me a broader insight as to the thought process in the planning.
You know, this is funny. Every time we do Talking Dead, the crew, they give us this beautiful gift. And lately, last year and this year, they gave me this bag. It has like a cross, like emergency cross. And inside is like a flashlight, emergency kit. I have 3 of them. And I'm in the office. And the other day, I'm like, when you open this, and I realized I'm ready. It's a Talking Dead. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have like a lot. I'm like, if I do one more talk show, I'm set with my entire block. I can give them it. It's amazing. It's really good. It works too. I tried it. Right?
We have as many individualized packets of water.
Yes. It's flashlight. I have like 4 flashlights and batteries and extras and the other thing I have to research. What is this? It's like a thermometer. I'm ready. I'm talking courtesy of
We have time for one last question.
Oh wait, but I want to know Ruben and Alexa's answers here. I want to know, are you guys ready for the apocalypse? Have you been equipped from the show?
I would like 90,000 cans of pork and beans. 300,000 rolls of toilet paper.
Hand in hand.
After the earthquake, my mom was like, I'm ordering backpacks, and she ordered like 5 emergency backpack kits, so now they're like, we're fully stocked. I don't know what I would be like. I feel like I would have the supplies to be prepared, but I don't think I would be like mentally prepared.
The show's prepared you a little bit.
California, you need to be prepared. I mean, everybody
journeys with our characters together and got to work with Skid Mark, which is really fun. But yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes.
I'll say that. I can talk about that one on actors.
Yeah.
The other one is a great episode because it made it, I mean, for me it was special because I did something I never do, you know, and I did make a fool of myself doing it, which I couldn't easily. So I had a ball. You know which one I'm talking about?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but I can't talk.
Cool. We're gonna do photos.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Spend my nights out in the bar. Reaches for the bar. Got me back
If you have a question, raise your hand.
Hello, Austin.
How are you?
Okay. So, is Sherry going to be found this season?
Sorry?
Is Sherry going to be found this season?
Yeah.
Yes. Next question.
She's Roberta's my new love interest. He's super bummed.
Lennie will be answering everything.
Yes, next question.
Good answer.
Good to see you, though, man.
Same here.
Oh, hi. I asked the previous group this, so I definitely want to get the rest of you your answers. Has this show, being a part of it, made you think about your own zombie apocalypse plans?
Step one of the apocalypse plan would be to stop gerrymandering. I think that's a good first step.
What?
Stopping the apocalypse would be to stop gerrymandering. I think that's a good first step.
Oh, is it my? Yeah, I do. You're next. I thought something was going on in here. So I do think about it. I have had dreams, nightmares, and it's part of my thought process. I feel like, it's been a long time.
There's a very weird thing that happens when I'm filming the show, where I start having really lucid dreams. And a couple of times my wife has had to leave the bed and go someplace else because I'm literally fighting zombies. It's not funny. I'm laughing. And it's a little bit scary, but it's the mindset you have to be in, the place you have to go to do our show. It kind of manifests itself in strange places, and for me, I get really lucid dreams. I wake up in the middle of the night going, "No, you can't go there," and things like that. It's weird.
It's so weird. I don't really think about it at all. I don't think it was something I really fully thought about for a couple of years. I think I was just I don't know, I'm in the apocalypse all the time. I guess it's just through osmosis, I would know what to do. And then it wasn't until we had an earthquake in California a couple of years back that suddenly I realized I had no idea what to do in any kind of emergency whatsoever. I was like, oh my God, I would have no clue. But through this show, the preparation was already there.
I think I used to go camping a lot, and after spending so many years in the woods, I don't camp anymore at all. That's really what I've gotten out of the zombie apocalypse, is the woods isn't entertaining anymore because we've been killing so many walkers for so long in the woods.
Yeah, I think for me, being on the show has just reinforced my beliefs that I would not make it long at all. It's a fun challenge to write these characters that are all such incredible survivors and so capable, because I would have no clue whatsoever. I wouldn't have made it past season 1.
So my question is for Lennie. Don't take this the wrong way.
I'll try not to.
But I love the fact that in this show and in The Walking Dead as well, you've set a precedent that you don't have to be like a young buck to be a badass. And you've done that in this. And Ruben has done it as well. I was wondering if you could talk about that and showing, that you can be a badass and not be like 20.
It's what you're trying to say, that you could be really old. I was a badass long before this show, but
Yes, but you were younger than Lennie. Remember, you were younger then.
I was younger. My knees were different. I think it's the nature of this genre. It's the nature of what Kirkman created all those years ago, in this, that he already laid it out with a variety of people. The very premise of it is the different people who can survive. I think the best example of that I can come up with to a greater extent is, like Alicia's character, who was a child when it all kind of started and who she's manifested into, but also Melissa McBride's character, and what's happened to her and her kind of transformation, and they're, very kind of different people. I mean, being a badass, as it were, there's a few of us who don't cut the regular shape, but that's part of what this genre, one of the things I like about this genre is that it's all encompassing, right from its very inception. It was diverse before people were using that phrase to describe what was happening, and it not just being monolithic. So if I am a badass, it's because this genre made me one. Well, didn't make me one because I was one before, but help me to continue to be one.
Hi, this question's for Alycia. The latest episode with the wonderful blood splatter to the face. I'd like to know what Alycia with a Y thought reading it compared to Alycia with an I did performing it.
I'm trying to think, because I feel like I read it. Did you tell me before, or did I read it after?
I think we called just to let you know it was coming.
Yes. So I knew, but then, I knew, and I knew kind of, then there was the vague ideas of things. Storylines. This is so hard. And then reading it, it was more just me focusing on, okay, like, this is someone who's finally tried to reach out and connect to people again after closing herself off for so long, and then it's only to put her in jeopardy. And I think she's just defined herself as like a fighter. She's like not just physically a warrior, but I mean like she's someone in fight or flight mode. She just fights. And so in that moment when it happens, I think there's the moment of realization, but then the instincts kind of click back in, and it's just like, okay, keep going, get the kids now to safety, and then I'll deal with myself later, which is a lot of Madison's traits as well. So I guess I wanted to like focused as well on, you know, it felt to me as, you know, as an actor, I was like, this is the final moment for Alycia that will change her in either way. Either it like enforces like that she just will spiral further into the darkness, or she'll decide to change and evolve into choosing happiness or wanting something more out of her life and really defining like a past and a future for her. So that's kind of really what I wanted from that, seeing that episode specifically.
Hi. So after Kim Dickens' character left the show, Alycia, your character sort of stepped into the role of the leader of the group, and then Morgan joined. And there seemed to be still a bit of mutual respect for each other, deferring to each other in a sense of leadership. Might there be some sort of conflict in the future where we need one instead of two?
Like a fight to the death.
I mean, the Morgan-Alycia relationship has been one of the most exciting things for us to explore this season, because they're two characters who do share a lot of things in common. They both lost people close to them. They both it's led both of them down paths of violence and keeping themselves at a distance from getting close to people. And, you know, that's something that they really connect on very early in the season. You see it in the second episode. You see it actually starting in the first episode. And so they learn from each other, and there's tremendous growth that will happen from both of them over the course of the season because of each other and their shared history. So, you know, and there's also, they talk about in one of the early episodes, kind of a division of labor between the two of them. Morgan, you know, is sort of on more of the humanist path of how he connects to people, and Alycia sets herself up as the protector. And we're going to see as that goes on that there might be a bit more of a crossover between what those roles mean for each of them. Two very strong leaders.
I will say, I'll just add to that though as well, that, you know, we really enjoy working with one another, and I think we have a similar, I don't know, approach or kind of acting sensibility. Sure. That means we're bad or good.
Always good.
That's good. And so, even when we just first came into it, it was like, I guess there was an ease to it, and that just sort of was instantaneous.
And also I think that there's a sense that, you know, them going to war about who's the leader is kind of conventional. I feel like I've seen that. There's something different going on here, which is that they're both kind of reluctant leaders, and Morgan feels himself to be a really good number two, and Alycia to a certain extent doesn't realise just how powerful and how strong and how smart she may well be, and the two of them together can help each other get to that place which will benefit the group. And if they succeed, they succeed together. If they fail, they fail together. But I think and I haven't seen that story told nearly enough, and I'm much more interested in telling that one than the one where we fight, because I've seen it.
That's really great.
Thank you. Can I go home now? Because that's kind of it for me.
Yeah.
Hi. For anyone who'd like to answer, if you could bring one character back to the show, who would it be and why?
Shiva, because I like tigers.
Anyone else?
We're talking about bringing something
you know
back
what?
from
Who would
the
be
dead.
great to bring back? Tobias, from the pilot episode of Fear the Walking Dead. He was the kid that knew it was all coming from the get-go. Yes,
Yeah.
the one that knew, like that. Imagine like suddenly him, like turning up in like Texas, being like and having like a full-on like a just camp, just like all ready to go. Just
And when the first time you see him, just goes, I told you this.
Exactly. I told you so. Tobias, that's it.
Called it. Can I ask, when you're talking about being in this super, super dark place, what is your self-care? What do you do to pull yourself out of the darkness?
So that, just to keep me laughing and smiling again, and then come back and be hopeful the next day.
Yeah, I watch a lot of trash TV.
Yeah.
I think also there's like a real importance of like separation from who you are and your life, and then the separation of like work. That's very important for me.
This question is actually for Karen. You answered half of my question, but the other part is your character was mired in a lot of guilt about all the people that you thought were responsible for dying or whatever. And now that you're part of the group, is there a character that you're kind of paired off with? Because the show kind of pairs people off and kind of sets them up and kind of clicks and moves them around. And can you talk about who that character would be? And the next question is, who do you want? What person do you want to have scenes with?
Oh, gosh. I think, Grace being a new character, she's finding her way. Every day she's navigating the more compass, the past, dealing with the past, and she's very much kept to herself. It was a fine line when we first started this journey. I was talking to Ian and Ed and Mikey too. She didn't want Grace to come off as being cold. It's just that she was very body focused to the task at hand of trying to clean up this mess at the nuclear plant that she was very responsible for. So it was trying to find that fine line to keep her still likable, but obviously she's very firm. The first thing I say on the show is to Morgan and tell him to take his clothes off. I was like, oh, this is a lovely introduction. You can't really see the smile on his face behind the fogginess of the mask. But I think it's, as far as Karen goes, my first scenes were with Alycia and Morgan, and which was such a wonderful introduction, especially with these two, because they've been through this journey and this universe. Right from the start, Lennie from Walking Dead and all that, so who better, and Alycia from season 1, who better to start yourself than these guys. And I think for Grace, just getting to know the rest of the characters and see where that takes us. I hope she gets to meet the rest of the gang, and I don't know, it's that, those gentlemen in the corner, they all know where things are going to go. They never tell us, it's always a secret too. So.
Grace has a couple of interesting pairings in various episodes in the back half. And that's all I'll say.
There we go.
Just saying that because we're standing next to her.
Waiting for that.
With the two people next to me who are on my sideline.
Hi guys. First off, congratulations on season 6. So exciting.
Yeah, that was a surprise. We just found out. Literally, we didn't know.
It was almost very casual too. We were all like, okay. Oh, cool.
Maybe I don't want to come back. How'd you think about that?
Scott and Gimple, very casual.
This has gone sideways.
So, Ian, my question is, with the way that things are shaping up, especially with like the hot air balloon, like you look at things, the foundation for the hot air balloon was laid in season 4 by giving us Gimple and giving us the beer. It wasn't just about the beer. Now it's, if they didn't have this hot air balloon, they wouldn't be able to get over the mountains, and then there's so many connections between Grace and kids, and so it's like you're laying these little Easter eggs and these little. It's almost like if it was a video game. It's like you're leaving a little toolkit so that when you come back around, like you can re-up your life or find something else. Is that something? Now that season 6 is official, are you laying those same things in this season? Are you that far ahead to where you know what's like? There's things that could be happening now that we'll see in season 6.
Oh, definitely. Season 5 is, as with every season, we tell 2 arcs in 8-episode chunks, but we really see season 5 as one big epic story. But as you'll see as you continue to watch in the back half, it all builds toward an ending which very much sets up what the design of season 6 is going to be. Yeah, we've been planning it for a while. So I'm sorry I can't be more specific, but yeah, no, we have a plan. We have a plan, and I think. Well, I don't think you'll see what it's going to be until the final frame of season 5. But when you go back and watch it all, it might seem inevitable. Is that vague enough?
Austin, how much more of you and Dwight? How much more of Dwight and John are going to get for the back half?
A lot.
More than anyone can handle.
You have some good questions.
And Goldberg, are we going to see any more of the helicopter group on the back half as well?
You have to watch that.
We should have had it all written down on cards and just kind of go, sorry, no.
I think for sure what we can say is that the episode 505 in which Al met Isabel and had the emotional investment in someone unlike we've seen from Al, we're going to see the ripple effect of that on Al, both emotionally because she allowed herself to open up to someone, and we saw at the end of that episode that she opened up to Alycia and Morgan, even if it was just telling her last name. So we will see how it changed Al, and that change in her will continue to play out as the season goes on.
Hi guys, so this question's for Austin. So Austin, how was it being called to come as a crossover on Fear the Walking Dead?
How was it?
Yeah, how did you feel?
It was awesome. Well, it's actually, it's a funny story. When I heard that Fear was going to Austin, Texas, probably a couple months before I was finishing the season on The Walking Dead, I was talking to Mr. Gimple, Scott, and I was like, hey, Scott, wouldn't it be funny if, Dwight went down to Texas? Dude, that's my hometown. And then a couple months later, I got the call. And he was like, do you want to... Well, he didn't really ask me. He was like, you should probably come down if you want a job. And I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. Come down. And it's been awesome. I love it, I get to film my hometown. I get to be with all these wonderful people, and we have a blast, and we're making incredible art, and it's, I couldn't think of anything better. It's awesome. Yeah, thank you. Sorry for the long response.
Hi guys. I'd like to know if there's any chance that maybe Morgan and Dwight appear again in The Walking Dead, and also if there's any chance that we can see other characters from Fear appearing in the future shows you guys are planning, and maybe in the other movies.
Well, I think what is so exciting about having Morgan and Dwight cross over to Fear is that this is a universe that is constantly expanding and finding points of intersection in surprising ways. So this is more a question for Scott as sort of the chief of the Walking Dead universe. But I think anything can happen, which is really exciting. I think I would be shocked if this was the last crossover from one section of the universe to the other.
I've heard rumors that me and Lennie may be going over to a kids show. Is that
Because we're both young enough.
Very true.
Can we all just call it the kids show now?
Right?
Is that
the kids show? The kids are dead. They're trying to find a title for the third show. And I'm going with
it's going to be called the kids show, right?
This is why we're not showrunners.
Thank you. Thank you.
preschool.